Hey guys, and welcome back to the Courageous Nerd YouTube channel for another interview. I'm Connor, and joining me today is Randy Frobel from the band We Were Sharks. We chat all about the band's growth over the past 11 years, Randy's music career as a whole, and much more. If you enjoy this interview or others on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome, Randy, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
All right, thank you so much for having me.
For sure, and I suppose for anyone who might be unaware, you're the lead vocalist of the Ottawa-based band We Were Sharks, and I've seen you guys described as pop punkers. Is that a term that you've kind of seen thrown around before?
I mean, I guess so. I that's kind of what we do. I kind of look at it more as we're just a party band. We just kind of go out and play the music that we want to play and that we want to hear, and just try to have a party. But yeah, I guess pop punk is pretty on the nose.
For sure, yeah. And I suppose actually before we go too much into the band directly, like I was wondering for you personally, like what got you interested in music, and what made you kind of want to pursue a career in that field?
Honestly, when I was younger, I used to do a lot of sports, and I found listening to music always kind of helped with the sport aspect of it. And when I was younger, I remember seeing like the Backstreet Boys and all these like girls going absolutely insane for them, and I'm like, man, I wonder if I could do that. And then I just kind of fell in love with music, and it was like started skateboarding, and then I got into punk rock music, and then from there on it just kind of went that way. And I mean, I get pretty into things when I'm into them, and it was just like from that point it was like that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to make music, and lucky enough here I am still kind of doing it.
Yeah, and I suppose like jumping forward in time to We Were Sharks, and obviously as any kind of creative project, it evolves and changes over the years. So like, how would you say like it's the band it's changed since you first became involved in it?
Well, we've been around now. It's going to be so it's 11 years. We've been around for 11 years now, so definitely older. A few of us are much older, and it just different members, different sounds. Once again, people growing up and kind of music taste kind of evolving and stuff like that. That's kind of really helped. And then touring and seeing kind of what works live, and then kind of working it into the new albums on what works live. You know, let's try to do that kind of thing.
So obviously, you and the band, as you said, you've been kind of going for 11 years now, and I imagine there's a lot of people out there who would love to have a career in the music industry. So if anyone wants to reach out and ask for advice or ask for tips on how to kind of get to where you are, what would you tell them?
Honest, don't do it.
Really? Okay.
I mean, that sounds like super negative, but you really truly do have to love it. It's one of those things. You're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose girlfriends, boyfriends, you're gonna lose jobs, you're gonna lose money, you're gonna lose time, you're gonna lose sleep, you're gonna miss all of like a bunch of different events in your family, birthdays, weddings, all of that stuff. There's a good chance that you miss it. But if you truly love what you're doing, if you truly love it, then it's not as hard on you. I don't want to say it's not as hard, because it's still hard. But you're gonna stay focused on it. So like really honestly think about it, give it a shot, try it, and just love it. I mean, if I could go back and tell my younger self that this was gonna happen, I probably would still be doing this. But at the same time, I would have been a little more ready for some of the heartbreaks and downfalls, because you deal with rejection a lot. You deal with a lot of rejection all of the time. You just have to be ready to like kind of look past some things and just continue moving on. And if it's really what you love doing, then just do it. Just do it for you. Don't do it for fame. Don't do it for money, because that happens to a certain 5% of people. You just have to really truly love what you do, and you just do it. That's, and if you don't, then that's okay. It's just not for you. But usually I tell people, don't do it unless you truly do love it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's whether like music or acting, it's very competitive, and you're obviously not guaranteed. Not guaranteed to have a job, and imagine a lot of disappointment. And I think it's important to be realistic, even if you're ambitious and kind of.
I think a big thing for a lot of the guys in the band now is we never wanted to lose ourselves.
Yeah.
Or who we were. Because you're saying, it is very competitive. It is very cutthroat. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, that's not who we are as people. So we never wanted to, step on somebody to get ahead. That's kind of not what we do. And I that's something that I wouldn't change about me. I would never do that. And if you can just kind of, I want to say, keep your soul going through this, then you're better for it.
For sure. So early this year in May, you released an album called New Low. Is that right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and I suppose, like, how would you kind of describe the music on that to anyone who's unfamiliar with We Were Sharks?
It is a pop punk album, but it's a more mature, I guess you want to say, pop punk. Maybe some people don't call it pop punk, but I personally think it's a pop punk album, and it just with a little more mature kind of flair of it. It's a party on an album.
Yeah. Is it again, correct me if I'm wrong, is it your first album, or how many kind of how much music have you been able to put out over the past 11 years?
This would be maybe the third, I want to say third full length. Maybe fourth full length. So we've been putting out albums after albums. When we first started, we just kind of released some EPs just online kind of thing. And yeah, this is like our second like major album, but like third or fourth full album.
Sure, yeah. And again, obviously, as I was saying, you're the lead vocalist of the group. And I know when I've spoken to actors, for example, when people are like playing the lead role, they kind of feel compelled to kind of play a leadership role in the group of people. So like, does that translate into being a lead vocalist? Would you feel like a lead in the band? It doesn't. Okay.
No. With us, there's a lot of guys working. Everybody's good at something, and they take control of that. And that's like a big thing. That's what kind of made this band, stick around for 11 years. Is you have to know what you're good at, and you have to know, you have to take on that role. And some people are better at other things, and some people are better at other things. And that's kind of how we, each of us take a role like that kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely would never say I lead anything in this band. We're just a unit, and whoever works best at something, they take that, and it seems to be working now.
Yeah, and I'm obviously I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to like music or like musical dynamics, but would being the lead vocalist be as simple as you were the best voice, or like how does that kind of decision get made?
To be honest, I don't know. Well, the band started, we were all in different bands, and that's kind of how we formed this band. We just all kind of like got along. We became friends, and we just thought it'd be fun to make a band together. Yeah. I just kind of always sang. So they were like, "Hey, you're a singer," kind of thing. There was no there's a couple guys in the band that our guitar player Colin, he's got an amazing voice as well. Yeah. We've had a few guys in the band that have incredible voices. So they just threw me in front.
For sure. And I suppose obviously kind of changing tack a little bit, again, such, over the decades, centuries, there's been such a wide variety of artists and performers who've, shown their talent. So if you could pick like a dream collaborator, like dead or alive, who would you want to work with?
Right now, I'd probably want to work with a country singer named Hardy. Okay. He's like my absolute favorite. I'm a big country music fan, and he's probably one of my favorite songwriters right now. I think just in any genre of music, he's absolutely one of my favorite songwriters. So I would probably have to go with Hardy.
Okay. And also you bring up an interesting point that because obviously country isn't the music genre that you perform in, and is that something that's common that normally people wouldn't be fans of the type of music that they play? Other artists, or do you think it could be? That makes sense.
There's still like bands that I listen to in this genre of music, and I want to say most of the people that I know listen to the style of music they play. For me, I listen to it too, but I'm more of a country fan, and I'm a big R&B fan as well. Sure. So that kind of is what I listen to. Yeah. Especially for on the road and we're like touring with other bands. I'll watch the sets every night and jam out, but at the same time, I want to, I got different music tastes. So I like to if we're in the van, I'll be blasting country, or if I'm in my headphones, I'll be blasting country or R&B or something like that.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't think of an appropriate metaphor, but you could say that about anything. If you're around something all the time, it's nice to do something a bit different and take in
Oh,
different.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And again, we were kind of talking about it a bit before we did the recording, but we have a mutual friend in Peter, whose last name I'm going to struggle to pronounce it, Romoliotis. Sorry,
Yes.
Peter.
Yeah. You did it better than me.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Peter, if I messed that up or got it wrong. Or PT Beats, he goes by. That's a lot simpler to say. PT Beats. Yeah, obviously a friend of both of ours. But like, how would you say your relationship with him came about? And yeah, like, how's that grown?
And it's funny too. Like I've ran into him so many times before we became friends and we didn't even know it. Like kind of thing. Like we've seen him at shows. He did a tour with us, did a few dates on a tour with us. I remember that because it was like summer and it was getting hot and he had this shirt on and our bass player at the time cut the sleeves off of the shirt for him. So he had like a muscle shirt for the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
I played against him in ball hockey tournaments as well, which we had no idea. And we're like facing each other. Like, this is hilarious. So great guy. I see him around a lot. I don't see him as often now, unfortunately, with COVID and everything, but super, super awesome guy. I've known him now since the band started. I've known him for 11 years now. Yeah.
Because he was saying you guys went back a long way, and 11 years. For sure, that's a lot longer than I've known him.
He was one of the first people that were like, hey, like, this is a good sound. I remember just chatting with him. He's like, yeah, I'm really digging your band. Like, you guys got a cool, fresh sound kind of thing. So that's going way back. Great guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And again, I'm sure it translates into other like form of art where like you remember the people who were supporting you really early on, even as you get
very
bigger,
much so.
Yeah, you always remember the people who were there at the beginning, and absolutely, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, and I suppose obviously on that note of like being a fan of the band, like what can fans of We Were Sharks expect in the near future and like kind of going into next year?
Oh, hopefully some shows. But I think, we've had a lot of people ask us, and a lot of people feel like they're bugging us and like, hey, I don't want to bug you guys, but what are you guys playing? Trust me, you're not bugging us. We want to play. We want to play so bad. We're just kind of waiting for the right time, waiting for everything to kind of, I don't want to say permanently clear up, but clear up as much as possible. Just because we want to have a show where, everybody's going crazy. Nobody has to stand 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
We want sing-alongs. We want all of the fun stuff that brings. So hoping like near future, some shows, hopefully. If everything goes correctly, some shows and we can all hang out. That's, just a big celebratory show, big party, because we still haven't got to do a CD release show yet. This album came out in May, so trust me, we're feeling it.
Absolutely. And obviously, that the past 2 or so years, like, not a great time to be in industry when you want to perform in front of large groups of people all in one space. Not a good time at all. So
well, on the side, I play in a cover band as well back home. So that's kind of how I make a living. And that kind of was shut down. It's starting to pick up again. I was playing on the weekend and I play New Year's and I play all the shows coming up for that. So it's kind of slowly going in that right direction, which is very, 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 very happy for all of us that it's kind of slowly coming back.
For sure. And actually, this is my last question, and just kind of wrap it up. And similar to what I just asked, but kind of more on you, like personally, like what do you hope to accomplish, like professionally, personally, in 2022?
Just be better. Just be better and keep growing as hard it is to grow in a world where you can't do much right now. Maybe get in touch a little more with my emotions. I'm a very emotional person. Maybe kind of learn a little more about myself. I'm growing up, things that I want to do. I kind of put things off because I am a little older now doing this music thing, and I'm always a little I want to say afraid to put some stuff out, but at the end of the day, you're never too old to do what you love doing, right? So I kind of battle those inner demons that maybe I'm too old to do this, maybe I'm not too old to do this. What would I do if I wasn't doing this? Kind of stuff like that. So that, and just we're gonna keep writing. We've been talking about doing some new stuff. you know, and fingers crossed we get to play shows soon. I
Fingers-
think that's the most important thing right now, is just getting back
sure.
to playing.
Absolutely. And obviously anyone who's listening, obviously be sure to listen out for Weaver Sharks, you know, and I guess obviously to you, Randy, like, you know, best of luck with, you know, your future
Thank you so much.
going forward, and, you know, whichever kind of goals you hope to pursue in the near future. And also just to say, thanks again for taking the time, and take care and stay safe.
Thank you so much for having me. Same to you. Had a blast.